Hello and welcome to another video review from salesburg.com. Today we are going to be looking at Thermaltake Spacecraft VFI. Thermaltake advertises this to be a gaming oriented case, although it is targeted towards the budget end of the market. Now there are a lot of cool features on the menu. We shall be looking at it shortly. Now let's begin with the review. We have a box like this one here. Now it is quite well presented, printed in color with lots of pictures, and they show a lot of features, what the case has and so forth. If you are picking this up from a shop, these features might come in handy. You might want to have a look at and all that. So that's the box. Let me get that out of the way and let's have a closer look at the case itself. Now, the front of the case is thus. It has 4 5¼ inch drive bays. These mesh are all filtered. There's a 3¼ inch drive bay position over here, but this is also filtered. Now, normally floppy drives would go in this position, but obviously we don't use floppy drives anymore. This stayed because we have a lot of accessories such as fan controllers or card readers, etc., that fits in this place, which is handy to have. Now at the front we have USB 2, a USB 3 port, but mind you, this USB 3 does not connect to the motherboard's I/O connector as such. It connects from behind. There's a cable that runs through the back of the case and connects to the back I/O port. So it'll take one USB 3 port to connect this. Now the panel over here is aluminium, just a little bit, but bit of a style statement. This panel on its own comes off pretty easily. Just pull and it's off. And over here we can see these are all filtered. There's a dust filter here as well. Now you can fit a 120mm fan over here. This is optional, by the way. Thermaltake does not include a front fan. The 5¼ drive bay, the primary position, is already cut out. A lot of other cases has that plate which we need to take off, but this one is ready to use. And also the side panel over here, we have power button over here, reset over here, hard drive LED, and power LED on top. Now let me pop it back on, which fits pretty easily like so. Now the side. We have over here ventilation, and it fits 120mm fan, which is optional in this case. There's a perspex window as well, which is nice. A lot of gaming cases have these. If you're building a good-looking case and you have lights and so forth inside, it's a good thing to have, but that's a personal thing. On top, there's plenty of ventilation. This position here, you are able to mount a 120mm fan, and over here you can fit either a 120mm fan or a 200mm fan, which is quite good. Now the back. We have a default installed 120mm fan on top, 2 cutouts for water cooling system, the pipes to come through. Here's a little latch that would be used for the cable. I'll show that later. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 PCI slot positions over here. The power supply fits in the bottom. The fan has blue LED, but very mild though. And obviously this is where the motherboard's I/O shield goes. Now the other side, you will note that the plate is extended a little bit outwards. This is great actually. I've built a system using this, and this makes cable management quite easy. It provides quite a bit of room at the back. Now let me take the thumb screws out. Thermaltake provides thumb screws for both right and left panels. That makes this job pretty easy. Oops. Let me take that off. So the board comes up, the panel comes out like that. Now the inside, I'll actually take the other side off as well. Ready? There we are. Now, as you may have already noticed, all these are tool free, but the other side they did not include the same. It would have been great if they provide the same for the other side as well, but such as it is, these are pretty easy to use. Just twist and pull, and then simply put it back on, turn. There we go. They include, of course, cable ties and screws, and as such, as always, cases tend to have. Except one little thing that I might want to show you is that normally speakers are mounted somewhere in the case, but they provide a nice little speaker. All you have to do is just connect it to your motherboard, and the speaker's there. So let me put that away. That was just a neat little touch. A lot of motherboards is starting to have that, which is very handy. Now the cables. What do we have? The standard 24-pin, and then we have 4 Molex connectors and 1 floppy connector. So just in case someone wants to use a floppy drive, or if any peripheral uses this power connector. 3 SATA, 1 6-pin PCIe power connector, and over here the 4 plus 4 pin power supply for your motherboard, the supplementary one. And there's the USB 3 cable that I was talking about. What you need to do is take one of these plastic grommets out, pass the cable through, and then feed the grommet back again, like so, and there we are. So that fits the cable through to the back of the motherboard to be connected like so. Okay, on the motherboard plate over here, the mounting plate, there is plenty of cutouts, and these cutouts are twisted backwards so that these are not sharp. These are not sharp edges over here, which I really appreciate, especially that you'd be running cables through them. And this is great because we have large cutouts. These are for cables. This makes life a lot easier when you're doing some cable management. They don't have rubber grommets over here, but then again, this is a budget end case. Now furthermore, we have the obvious connectors such as the power switch, your front LEDs and hard drive LEDs and so forth. We have a, what's this one? Audio, USB, that's the USB 2 by the way, and the power supply. Traditionally, Thermaltake used to include the Light Power series power supplies with its budget end cases. This time they've included a 500 watt power supply, which has the model number TT-500PL2NK. This is a new addition. It's totally black, which matches with the interior of the case, which is also all black, which is very nice. They provide black screws. These are black thumb screws. They also provide black screws for the motherboard mounting, which is great. It matches with the color theme. Now, at the bottom, furthermore, last but not least, we have another position for 120mm fan over here. Let me tilt the camera a little bit. There we are. And a 80mm, I believe this is, another fan position to cool off your hard drives and as such. And the power supply ventilation over here is actually filtered by a filter as such. I'll take that off. You can take it off and wash it and put it back like so. Done. And obviously they have plastic seats, which is not too great, but it is still better because you need some distance from the floor because of the bottom mounted power supply, or if you are ventilating, if you have fitted an intake, it is actually recommended that you fit a fan at the bottom and fan at the top to actually create the updraft. Hot air rises obviously, and you are facilitating that with a setup like that, and this feature is actually good for that sort of cooling strategy. So that about wraps up the review of the Thermaltake Spacecraft VFI casing. It is expected to retail anywhere between 130 to 160 depending on where you are buying from, and it is a very decent value for money case. In this range, you do not have as many cases that features this many of the features as I've mentioned, with which you can actually make a reasonably decent gaming system. Not too powerful because the power supply is going to max out pretty soon, and besides they have only one PCIe 6-pin connector, which sort of limits what sort of cards you can use. Not very powerful, something in the range of 6770s or thereabouts. But nonetheless, you can make very good systems with this case. The only thing that I would have desired is if they included a front intake fan as well. That would have sort of had the package more balanced. But nonetheless, such as it is, there is room for us to choose our own fan and place them anywhere we feel like. There's plenty of places where we can put fans on. So there is the Thermaltake Spacecraft VFI. For more video reviews, please check out our website at www.salesburg.com. Thank you for watching. See you next time.